the FIA WTCC is brought to you by JVC Kenwood.
So Van Muller brings the field once more to the grid. Race distance reduced from 14 to 13 laps because they've now burned off, not quite a lap of fuel, but you know what I mean. Hugo Vallant will be alongside, and there was confusion between Lopez and Loeb. Lopez, I think, on the wrong side of the grid, and there was definitely an empty spot behind Hugo Vallant, so somewhere in the Lopez-Loeb-Mar trio of Citroens, it didn't go well. Obviously, if we go now to Citroen, they'll explain that the rule is wrong in the same way that Mar missing qualifying was a bad rule. But there may well be a penalty to pay for that. Red lights are on, and away we go. Good start from Van Muller. Good start from Hugo Vallant. And Lopez is on the inside. He's looking down the inside of Muller, and he's got a really good run. Matt Neal, he's going to take the lead away from the poleman into the first turn, and that is exactly what Muller did not need.
Lopez made a fantastic start getting the power down, and he's jumped the pair of them, but Volante is definitely going to be on the attack now.
And was that Mar that went out wide? It was, after a touch from Lopez. Vallant looked like he was down into fifth. The other two Citroens touched. Muller goes around the outside, and Vallant is going to be right in there as well. Thiago Monteiro goes by Sebastian Loeb. Norbert Michaelis goes by Tom Coronel. And where has Tarquini got to? Well, he's only one car further up. And Vallant made a decent start, but Lopez made the best, and he has held on to the lead. So it's Lopez, Muller, Vallant, and then the 33 car of Mar, and Monteiro got by Sebastian Loeb for fifth place.
It seemed Muller made a good start, went to the inside to cover Vallant, and then just took his eye off the ball, and Lopez just got in there and jumped him. It was the second phase of the start where he really seemed to get the power going.
Yep.
Now Muller needs to shake off Vallant and get his head down to see if he can put Lopez under pressure, because if he gives him fresh air, the Argentinian will just be gone.
Tarquini, fastest man in the first sector on lap 1. Lopez, fastest in sector 2 on lap 1. So Lopez trying to pull away from Muller, as he has done so far this season from pole. And Vallant looking the man most likely to make a move. There's the Campos Racing team. They're watching that Dayglow yellow and white machine. And this new RML Chevrolet Cruze engine update means that he is losing nothing in terms of power now to Van Muller. He's just pulling away a fraction, Muller. But Vallant in the slipstream is going to make himself very annoying. Monteiro in 5th place in the Honda, and Norbert Michaelis in 7th place in the Honda, with Tom Chilton on the inside as Huff goes inside Coronel and takes away 9th place from the Dutchman. Vallant under pressure from Qinghua Ma down the straight, but Ma now on the twisty stuff has got the Honda all over him. That Honda of Monteiro really has grip. Race 1 in Hungary. Lopez leading from Muller. Battle of the black and red cars is for 7th place. Norbert Michaelis
putting a move on Michelet,
getting bumped on the inside by Tom Chilton. Now Norby went by you cleanly, Tom. There was no need to bounce your way through in corner 5.
That was a good opportunistic move, that was.
Right behind are the 2 yellow cars of Huff and Coronel. Huff got by Coronel on the start of the lap. Mehdi Benani behind them in 11th place. Don't forget, he's battling Norbert Michaelis here for the Yokohama Independence Trophy. Benani leads by 1 point coming in here.
Michelitz is actually out of position for where he's been running most of the weekend. He's up to 7th place, which is after a great start and opening lap, but his outright speed has sort of been 10th, 11th, 12th all weekend. So I know Huffy's definitely got him in sights, because Huffy could have gone better in qualifying.
Yep.
And so he's definitely going to be zeroing in on the back of that Honda.
Jose Maria Lopez leads from Ivan Muller. Citroen starting to ease away now from Hugo Vallant, and down the straight, the 4th car, Qinghua Ma in his Citroen. Sebastian Loeb in 6th position, can't hold on to Thiago Montero's Honda, and Tom Chilton pulls out to show his nose. Doesn't work for him. Gabriele Tarquini has got by Stefano D'Aste, Gregoire de Moustier, John Philippi and Mikhail Kozlowski away from the start, but it's going to be a long afternoon for Tarquini from the last spot on the grid, trying to make his way through traffic. Not sure if he and Thiago will have gone on the same setup on the car. It's the Campos Racing team watching the man in 3rd place, Hugo Vallant. Looks as though whatever they've done, Thiago has got the better setup of the 2 Honda drivers. Muller's
just posted the fastest front sector of the race, so he's going to try and zero in on Lopez now by the looks.
Lopez faster by 0.06 of a second on the previous lap. There is almost nothing to choose between them. But you're right, 0.17 quicker on the first sector. Muller closing in on Lopez.
The problem he's going to encounter around here is it's a very technical section over the far end of this Hungaroring, and he will lose downforce. And these new TC1 cars, they're incredibly reliant on the aero and the downforce they can get. So and with tyre wear a factor around here, this could play into Lopez's hands. If Muller's going to do him, he's got to strike fast.
That's exactly right, before he runs out of tyre, because he will run out of tyre at a faster rate, because as you said, Lopez's car is leaving dirty air, and Muller's aerodynamics aren't helping the tyres as much as Lopez's aerodynamics are helping his tyres. So Ivan, if he's going to get by, has to do it in the first 4 or 5 laps, and we're already on to lap 3.
And unlike the British series, the weight applied to the cars is done by mark here, so all the Citroens will be running at the same weight. All the Chevrolets, all the Hondas will be 60 kilos lighter this weekend.
Well, fastest lap that time round from Muller, but by just 6 thousandths quicker than Lopez. That's nothing like enough. He's got no speed in hand now over Lopez. He's in that half a second behind area where he's just stalled, isn't he?
Yeah, he pulls it in the first and the third sector, and then Lopez pulls it back out in the middle sector, which is the technical part, and you are stuck at a bit of a traffic jam there.
Yeah, we heard from Ivan after qualifying saying it wasn't a perfect lap. He said a perfect lap here is almost impossible. You're either quick in sector 1 and you pay for it in sector 3, or you're not so quick in sector 1 and sector 2 and 3 go better for you. He said, but the tyre can't give you a perfect lap. This is such a high tyre wear track. Gabriele Tarquini stuck behind Mehdi Benani. Benani last year, of course, in a Honda, this year in that Citroen C-Elysée, still in the green, white and red of Morocco.
But Tarquini's definitely the man on the move. He's up to 12th so far, so he's had a cracking opening few laps.
Ivan Muller's start procedure will be investigated after race 2.
I don't think he did anything wrong, did he?
No, he was on pole, and...
Maybe it's because we've now got a camera on his lever.
Yeah, it wasn't him that was out of position, was it? Wasn't he on pole in the pole position spot? I thought the front row was okay.
I thought it was Loeb.
And there was a gap behind Vallant.
Yeah, I thought it was Sebastian Loeb who was out of position.
Well, what do we know? Certainly nothing, because nobody's telling us anything. Can't see what Muller did wrong, unless they're just going to penalise him for not being fast enough away and allowing Lopez to lead again.
Yeah, Lopez fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, 2/10.
So he's got his head down now, pinned his ears back.
2/10 in hand over Muller again, added to his advantage this lap. Battle for third place is entertaining, isn't it? Hugo Vallant not able to keep pace with Lopez and Muller, but again, Qinghua Ma, that Citroen in the middle of this little trio, potentially with a quicker car, just can't quite find a way to get by. And this is where the war of attrition that is the Hungaroring is really setting in. Montero in 5th in a similar position. He could probably go faster. if he could actually find a way past Mar.
Yeah, if Valente can hang on the first sort of half of the race, the Citroën is 60 kilos heavier, so it's going to be harder on its tyres. The Honda is quite a stiff car, so in theory that should be tougher on its tyres as well. So if he can hang on the first half, then the two behind him should lose their edge and drop away.
And the other advantage for Valente, of course, is that he is running in clear air in third place, because he's about a second and a half behind Muller, so his tyres will last longer than Mar and Montero, who are both in his slipstream and in his turbulence and working their tyres harder. So
yeah, that's a very good point.
All those cards favour Valente over Mar, unless Mar gets by soon. Huff and Coronel still ahead of Bernani and Tarquini. That's 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Grey skies overhead here at the Hungaroring, first of our two races. We haven't had a day without rain yet this weekend. Lots of rain yesterday, and then bizarrely dry qualifying. Not quite dry enough for Gabriele Tarquini, whose car got spat off on the AstroTurf on the exit of corner 2 on the very first lap, corner 3 in fact, and into the barriers. Now down the inside of Bernani.
Oh, Bernani just runs a wee bit wide.
More in hope than anticipation of anything happening there, I think. He was just piling a bit more pressure on the Moroccan driver.
I thought Thiago was going to have a go for it, and then he just he backed down. I think Bernani was aware he was there. It looks like he's pushed that hard, but the weight's having an effect on him.
Yeah. And Hugo Valente in the Dayglow yellow and white Chevrolet, definitely pulling away from Mar Montero at the moment. Mar Montero, that little fourth place battle, and it's now down to those two, isn't it? Mar has dropped away from Valente because he's under attack from Montero. He's having to defend harder. Well, that's what happens with the levers. You release them both together, releases the brake and the clutch.
There was nothing wrong with that.
No.
How did that start procedure?
I don't know. He made two moves, but then he hardly chopped Lopez. It's not like he was alongside and made contact. What I want to know, well, there'll be words in the team about Loeb versus Mar in the first corner and contact and everything else. But as we've seen many times in the past, Matt, when you've got cars in a multi-car team, they tend to be at pretty much the same pace and in pretty much the same place all the time. And contact between teammates is almost more likely than between one manufacturer and another.
You know, Ivan is going to be in a proper bad mood at the end of this race. He got absolutely jumped at the start there. Yep. That was very unlike him. Normally he's super savvy in that respect, and Lopez, it was a gimme.
Well, now, was it or is it because we still have to sort out why we had an aborted start and why we had an extra formation lap and who was not where they should have been on the grid? And it was the car that was behind Hugo Valente. So it was the car that was fourth place. Lopez was third and Loeb was fourth on the grid.
And he was one box back.
He was in the wrong position. So Lopez, I think, is clean. And I think Loeb might be under investigation, but again, we're not hearing anything about that. It didn't say Sebastian Loeb, car 9. It said Ivan Muller, car 68. Looking back from the larder of Rob Huff to Tom Coronel. And our best wishes go to James Thompson, not racing here in the Hungaroring. Struggling with an abscess in his tooth. Had a little bit of illness because we have no Rickard Rydell either. His Nika Racing Honda is not here. He's not fit enough yet to race either. So we have to hope that he'll maybe be back for the Nordschleifer in a couple of weeks' time. Otherwise, Rickard is going to miss a big chunk of the European season.
It's a shame. I mean, you can't. It's almost hard to believe that abscess tooth on story about Tomo, because he's got lovely noshes, hasn't he? He's got a great smile.
He has indeed.
And he was in really good spirits on Saturday morning.
Yeah. He's really enjoying his time with this Lada team, you know. Okay, not a World Championship winning car, and the new Vesta has been tough work for the team to produce, but you know, he's always at pains to underline just how hard the guys in the Lada team work. as hard as anybody else, and perhaps with less budget than almost anybody else.
Thiago's and Montero's definitely bottled up behind these two, and if he could just find a way past, I think that Honda could push its way onto the podium there.
Well, as Lopez has stretched his way 2.2 seconds clear of Muller, suddenly the gap that Vallon had over Mar a lap ago has evaporated. What did Hugo do wrong that Mar and Montero have suddenly... It's not like they've worked together, because Montero's still trying to find a way past the Chinese driver's Citroën. But I think Hugo Vallon must have made a little error somewhere.
No, he's not made an error. The times are there, but the gap's been eroded. But he's definitely the cork in the bottle for these two, and especially for the Type R that's at the back of the three. Those Hondas have showed incredible pace this weekend, especially in the dry. And if the circuit, you know, the moisture in the air has just dried up a bit, maybe the circuit's coming back to its full dry running. So,
well, traditionally it does get quicker lap by lap, this track over the weekend, because it doesn't get as much use as some other tracks. They did have racing here last weekend, so slightly rubbered up. And the other thing, of course, is that Honda was very quick in FP2 in the pouring rain. They were second and third behind only Lopez. So either weather would have worked for them this weekend. Stagnation at the front of the field here at the Hungaroring. Jose Maria Lopez leads after 8 of our 14 laps. From Ivan Muller, gap out to 2.5. Lopez just taking another 3/10 away from Muller. Further back, looking at the battle of the yellow cars, Rob Huff ahead of Tom Coronel, and the yellow and white car, third place Hugo Vallon in front of Qinghua Ma and Thiago Montero in the red, white and green Honda Civic. Matt, with its very different looking aerodynamics front and rear. You can see it particularly in the profile how much longer the nose of the car looks. I mean, you said it's 50 mil, 2 inches or so. It looks notably longer than that. It's a much pronounced different look to the front.
The Jazz Honda guys look as though they've done a fabulous job on there. Oh, was that Mar just getting a wee bit out of shape through there? Yeah, they look as though they've done a fantastic job. I mean, the new aero looks fantastic. Awesome on the Civic.
The way Thiago closes in through corner 5. We were talking to him this morning, and he was saying that how good the car is under braking and in the first stage of the turn into apex. He said on the way out, still got too much rear grip, and as a result they're getting understeer, wheel spin, and trying to find their way off the corner. And that's going to be part of what they need to unlock from this new package.
Yeah, I mean the Chevrolet of Coronel in this sandwich, he's not one of the lucky ones who's running the new RML engine upgrade, so he is going to be slightly shy on straight line speed, so which is going to hinder him being able to attack Huffy, and is going to leave him a little bit open to Montero.
Well, he's looking maybe at introducing a new engine. It's not a free upgrade, so first of all you've got to find the money, and Tom of course finds all his sponsors himself. But also, when you put a new engine in the car, an upgraded engine, you do have a grid penalty. And he thought, well, maybe at the Nordschleife would be the place to do it, because there, the grid, probably going to count for much less on that long track. Montero down the inside. Little touch there with Mar, nothing untoward. And Mar holds on to 4th place for the moment. But again, if Vallon goes, Montero needs to get on with it, because otherwise Mar's car will get clear air. And he'll be able to preserve his tyres a little better than the Honda.
That Honda is good under braking now.
Really good. He's taking bites out of the back bumper of Mar, under braking in every turn. But we've seen before, last year and this, how good the Citroën is at putting its power down out of the corners.
Seems very good over the... Seems to be one of the best cars for riding over the curves, doesn't it?
Well, again, you know, you get a rally team to build a racing car, they haven't forgot what they know about suspension travel and how you control body mass.
Through the technical section here, this is where Montero's going to start hurting his tyres if he's not too careful. He can't afford to drop back and give himself a little bit of air. He's got to keep Mar under pressure.
Lopez Gap out now over 3 seconds. It was 2.8 last lap, up to 3.19 on these sector times. Muller's just dropped another 0.3 in sector 2 alone. And that's where that margin is coming from. Lopez has this uncanny ability to just dial the best into his car somehow or other, whether it's setup or whether it's driver as much as anything else. It's very, very demoralizing, I'm sure, for the likes of Muller and Mar and Loeb, that Jose Maria Lopez continually, he's like the bubbles in the champagne. He always rises to the top.
We saw a very uncharacteristic mistake in qualifying in the Q3 shootout. And whether it was pressure, whether it was conditions, whatever, but it's certainly back to status quo normal and for race mode, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, it did at least remind us that, yes, actually he is a human being, not some kind of automaton, because, yeah, he went wide in turn 3, ran off the road, and then again at the end of the lap, trying desperately to make up for it, ran out of road again. So
you'd almost say he's almost Schumacher-Vettel-esque.
Yep.
In when they're in their prime, they just seem to be able to almost walk on water, and that's what Lopez is doing at the moment.
He can generate the confidence that gives him the speed in the car. Now, the starting procedure we're hearing is that Yvan Muller, when he pulled up onto pole, went 1 row too far forward. Now, the front row of the grid and pole is by the white line across the track at the start. So we need to see that again.
Right, I'll tell you what it is, Martin.
Should they have started a row back?
There's 2 white lines on the grid, and they were starting from the second one, which is actually...
There's
4 grid positions after the first white line, and then there's another white line, which is where the WTC was starting from.
Okay.
So Yvan is looked for the front of the grid, because they don't have a flag marshal to position you, like we do in the UK.
But hang on a minute, that means that the grid was formed up behind the finish line, not behind the start line.
No, the finish line is the first one.
All right, we need to have a little look at that after the end of the race, and take a look again at where they were on the green lap, the grid before the green flag lap, and then where Yvan lined up for the first start.
Yeah, it's very confusing, and it's a little bit unfair on Muller, but...
well, you know, the driver is responsible for finding pole. However, normally the team will make a mark somewhere on the wall so he can look alongside and judge where he is. Because when you're sitting down in the car, you can't see where the grid box is. And if you start with your wheels in front of your grid box, then you immediately get a drive-through penalty. So the teams are very aware of this. But again... is that a
Martin,
team driver mistake? Exactly.
So far back inside these cars.
So low, so far back.
And you look up and down the pit wall, there's dozens and dozens of markings from different drivers, so it's very, very hard to pick up.
But we've seen many times over the years, especially with the RML Chevrolet team, making absolutely certain that the driver knows where his grid spot is. Because getting a drive-through for not being in your proper grid spot, you might as well not bother showing up for the race at all.
But everyone's human.
I know, of course they are.
As Lopez was in qualifying yesterday.
Well, and you know, and as the team made a mistake with Mar by not hurrying him up.
I'll tell you what, Loeb running wide there. Maybe that weight's just.
Yeah, starting play. There's Norby having a little front end moment as well. Yeah, he's stuck behind Chilton's Chevy and running out of front end grip.
I actually thought Michelitz would drop back a bit, but he's holding a good station in 8. He's sort of the car in the race is coming to him a bit, and
this is going to give him the lead in the Yokohama Trophy for the independent drivers as well over Bernani, because he's going to outscore Bernani, and so he will move into the lead of that group. Battle for third still alive. Vallant, Mar and Montero. Then behind him Loeb, kind of deflated. I wonder if that little rub with Mar has had some effect on Sebastian Loeb's car, because on pace, and he's at the front of the next queue, he should have caught Montero. He should be behind Montero all over him. But he's shown no signs of being able to go quickly enough.
Yeah, you would have thought so. You would have thought he'd have the pace over Quinquan Mar, so...
Well, Lopez's fastest lap is a 50.7. Loeb's fastest lap is a 51.7. So his fastest race lap is a second off Lopez. And it's 0.6 off Muller, and it's 0.6 off, 0.3 off Marr.
Yeah, and he's a second shy of him now on his...
And he was on the inside, left front wheel bump Marr. Might just be that the suspension geometry has been whacked out of line by that. I mean, we know these things are built tough, and we know they spent time deliberately crashing into each other to make sure they knew what was tough and what wasn't. But all the same, things do still bend, even if they don't necessarily break. Final lap on the Hungaroring, getting 2 weeks ahead of myself. Jose Maria Lopez running away with this one. Started in third place on the grid, out-dragged Ivan Muller and Hugo Vallant down to the first corner and never looked like losing the lead. Wins by... Takes second, Vallant on the podium in third, Marr in fourth, Montero fifth, Loeb, Chilton, Mikulic, and then Huff and Coronel together ahead of Tarquini in 11th place. But Jose Maria Lopez looking very happy with that. And of course, he will start in front of Ivan Muller and Hugo Vallant. 10th, 9th and 8th they will be on the race 2 grid. So he's got another opportunity in race 2 to outscore Muller once more.
Yeah, Muller will be kicking himself after that one. That is a definite opportunity missed, not just for points, but to sort of try and put a chink in, just a seed of doubt into Lopez's head.
Yeah. Stop your teammate winning all the time. Definitely, it was a missed opportunity. One, I'm sure, added to the list of days that he will rue, a missed opportunity against Lopez. Final formation lap around the Hungaroring for round 6 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Well, on pole position is the local hero, Norbert Mikulic. Tom Chilton has taken the lead of the Yokohama Trophy, starts in second place here, but Mikulic is on pole. Let's hear what he thinks. Well, we're hoping to have a word from Norby, but perhaps understandably, he's focusing a little more on temperatures, tyre and brake temperatures, because he's got a race to win here. Tom Chilton right behind him, racing in specs as ever, and Tom also thinks that this is his race to win. So too, I'm sure, do Tom Coronel and Rob Huff. If they can get in the mix in the opening couple of laps, I mean, it's a rule of thumb, isn't it? If you're in front in Hungary or Monaco, you've got to give it away. Yeah, I mean, the Citroens have been incredible at coming through the pack and then cutting their way through, but this is one of the circuits. Remember the Honda, it was Jenson Button's first win. Yep. And it's because he managed to get to the front and he could hang on there, so... Norby, has he come to the right grid spot? I look out the window as you look at the Zengo Motorsport team. He has, so no issues there. He will be on the front row of the grid and everybody else will form up behind. Mikulic, Chilton, Coronel, Huff, Montero, and then all the Citroens. Marr, Loeb, Lopez, Vallant in the Chevy, and then Muller and Bernani. Behind Montero, 5 of the next 6 cars are Citroen CLEs. Bernani comes very late to his grid spot, but lines up just about perfect. And the green flag waves. You are ready to go racing here once more. Chilton pointed towards the right-hand side as the driver looks at it. Away go the lights, away goes the field. Good start from Montero. Tarquini on the grass trying to go around John Philippi. Another legendary start for him. Coronel up into second ahead of Chilton. Chilton's got the new engine package. Coronel hasn't. Tom will be happy with that. One of the Toms at least. Montero on the inside, but look, it's 3 wide as Ma and Muller make contact, and so too does Huff. He gets turned around and hit by every Citroen. How did they all manage to hit him? He's only got 1 car and there's 4 of them. Huff at the back of the field. Loeb around the outside of Montero. Who is the next Citroen? Lopez ahead of Muller, ahead of Ma and Vallant in the middle. Again, Lopez has come through like a charm, and Muller got held up there, trying to go around the outside of Lopez at 4. That's not going to work even on new tyres, because Lopez has got the same amount of grip. Getting a little push from behind. That Chevy again, look, turns in and it's coming off the corner better than Muller's Citroen. Ugo Vallant really pushing hard on this opening lap, but Matt Neal, wow, contact in the first couple of corners, and Rob Huff pushed to the back of the field.
Yeah, Huffy definitely got properly beaten up by the Citroen masses there, but a dream start for Michelitz, and it's the perfect scenario at the moment.
Well, all sorts of changes behind. There is a yellow car in the equation. Is that Kozlowski? Did he get a great start? It is. Kozlowski up behind de Moustier. So Kozlowski, in whatever was going on at the back of the field when Tarquini was bouncing on the grass, Kozlowski found some track and he moved up the order.
The timing screen has actually got Chilton second.
Timing screen is a lap behind. We'll ignore that and go with our eyes, because Coronel got in front of Chilton and the timing screen will catch up at the end of the lap. And that's what is remaining of Rob Huff's left rear corner. And it's actually the same thing that happened to him in Argentina, isn't it? Mikelish leads. It's the 2 Toms, the 2 teammates at Royal Motorsport. Tom Coronel in front of Tom Chilton. Montero defends hard against Loeb. And then it's Lopez and Muller in those 3 white Citroens. But Tom Coronel ahead of Tom Chilton. And now it's all about line and length. Coronel doesn't have to have a faster engine. He just has to position his car right to stay in front of Chilton.
Well, Chilton's going to be... This is the perfect scenario for Michelitz at the moment, because Coronel's not got the engine upgrade. He's not got the faster car. So Chilton's going to want to get in a hurry and get on and try and get after Michelitz. But Michelitz can make a break early on.
We could end up... I'm going to venture this now and immediately be shot down. We could end up with a podium without a Citroen on it. And if it's going to happen, this would be the place. And if it's going to happen, Montero has to defend now for the remaining 13 or 12 and a half laps, because he's got to hold off Loeb, Lopez and Muller. Bernani's out of it, as you can see. Under bonnet temperatures have soared for some reason. Huff is out of it. In cockpit temperatures have probably soared there since that contact. Bernani not involved with Huff. The only Citroen in the field who wasn't.
It'd be nice to get a replay of what happened to Huffy on there, but I don't know whether he was dishing it out and got some back, but he definitely got properly. He was the bit of a pinball wizard going around turn 1.
Well, he was on the inside of a couple of Citroens into turn 1, but that left him on the outside in turn 2, and all the Citroens sort of met in the middle, and as Huff got turned around, pretty much all of them, I think, may have a bit of yellow paint on them. Well, Bernani's out. Mikelish leads by 2.1 from Coronel Chilton, and then Montero holding everybody else off for the moment. Gregoire de Moustier, the Eurodata car machine, in 10th place, holding off Stefano D'Aste. That's a battle of 2 Chevrolets. And Thiago Montero, whatever changes Gabriele Tarquini has made, haven't made his car any quicker than Montero's. So Tarquini is in the pit lane, in fact. So whatever they did, either he's had... Oh, of course, he went across the grass, so that's probably what has kiboshed Tarquini's race. Montero holding off Sebastian Loeb. And a speed advantage. Again, Matt Neal, like Monaco, a speed advantage doesn't help here. You've got to have some other way of getting by.
You have got to fight your way past here, but I always say there's no substitute for straight line speed. Now, Michelitz is really got his head down, which is great, but he's in the Yokohama Trophy, so it's a double whammy for him. But it is a full factory spec car he's running. It's the same as the Castrol guys. It's just a different livery. So he's got everything that Honda can throw at him, and he's making good use of it at the minute.
And if it finishes the way it is, he will take the lead of the Yokohama Trophy away from Tom Chilton, who took it away from Mehdi Banani in race 1. So it's that close at the top. Banani won't score now, so he's gone back. Tarquini, you just saw being ushered out of the garage, so did he pick up a puncture with his rally crossing? It's entirely possible. Norby, 2.119 ahead last lap. Comes across the line ahead of the two Toms.
Tarquini probably got a radiator full of grass on that one.
Norby's owned up 6/10. On Chilton's windscreen, was that spots of water, or is that just a peel-off windscreen with little air bubbles in it? It might be just a peel-off windscreen.
I would
sure,
liven things up a bit.
Sure, we would see spots of water on the camera lens before now, if there were any. Just has been... Rain's made its appearance several times already this weekend, and that would definitely put the cat among the pigeons here. Michaelis 2.7 away from the Toms. Coronel in front of Chilton. Coronel in the yellow DHL car, and Chilton in the black and red capsicum car. They're all thumping it over the curbs there at turn 4, aren't they? You hear them all bump, bump, bump. I suppose they're all getting ready for the carousel, aren't they, at the Nordschleife in 2 weeks' time.
Fastest first sector of the race for Michelitz again.
Fastest race lap last time round as well. A second, nearly quicker than any of the Citroens. That's a blinding lap from Norby.
Yeah, the Citroens are all bottled up at the moment.
Well, hang on a minute. Has Norby not found pace all weekend and suddenly managed to make it somehow for the right race? That's quite impressive if it is. What was the fastest lap in race 1? I didn't write it down.
It was about a mid-50, so I mean 50.4 or something, and he's doing a 50.6, so he's down there with the times of the Citroens.
Of course, they have fresh tyres and a full tank of fuel at the start of race 2, so it's not like the cars get quicker from race 1 to race 2.
I'll tell you what you might have done, because
kept new tyres for race 2.
You only have so many new tyres. You have to carry over a lot of used ones from previous meetings. He might have saved all his best rubber for this race 2, knowing that's the best opportunity he's got.
Might have done.
Well,
Ladbrokes aren't going to give you money on him not doing that.
There you go, 50.4.
Yeah, he is absolutely charging away from the rest of the field. The cars behind, Tom Coronel doing a 51.2. So that's an 0.8 of a second faster lap from Norbert Michaelis. It's quite impressive. Home circuit and everything, but he only races here once a year, same as all these guys. Some of them will have raced here more frequently than Norby has. Thiago, for instance, raced here in Formula 1. Norby didn't. Lopez raced here in GP2. Lopez... No, I don't think he did race here in Formula Renault V6, but he's certainly got experience here. Thiago in 4th place. What's his lap times like? 51.49 is his best. 51.79 last time round.
Yeah, he's keeping a very tight line in that Civic there, so he's only got to give those Citroens a glimmer of light on the inside, and they're going to be nibbling away at the back of him.
And the question is, Matt, you know, Norby's just done a 1:50.4, and the best that Montero's done is a 1:51.4. Let's take a look again at the start. Watch Tarquini on the right. Great start. Filippi has no idea he's coming until he's actually alongside the driver's window. So Gabrielli bounces all over the grass. What we actually want to see...
What did he do that for? Why did he turn left?
Because Demoustier was in the way.
No, Tarquini, obviously, to avoid an accident.
Okay, watch Huff, yellow car, 6th or 7th row back. He's on the inside here, behind all the Citroens. 3 run out wide, all 4 run out wide. And actually, Huff gets biffed by... Mar, but Mar is getting biffed from the outside, look.
No,
Mar gets a tank slapper. Loeb, no, it's Loeb. Watch Loeb, he hits Lopez, comes back across Mar, who then is trying to avoid getting taken out by Loeb, who goes from hard shoulder to central reservation in one move.
That was Loeb coming across the track.
That was Loeb.
Causing the accident. Mar went to avoid, and Huffy was the
had nowhere to go, and Huffy, you know, he inherited the luck there, didn't he?
What a rotten weekend for Lauda. They was hoping so much for him this weekend with Tomo out and Huffy now wounded. And
Gabor Weber there in the front of the Zengo Motorsport Garage. He raced with Zengo in World Touring Cars 2 or 3 years ago. He's their Hungarian TV Formula One lead commentator. In the train of Citroens. Well, now that we've seen the replay, Sebastian Loeb's 5th place, I'm saying, is not likely going to last.
That'll be a racing incident because he didn't actually hit Huff himself.
Yeah, he hit everything else. He hit Lopez.
Probably thought he was a tree trying to avoid it.
Yeah, he got sideways, just asking too much of the tyres on in the first corner on lap 1. Gabriele Tarquini, fastest race lap, a 1 minute 50.3. That's a 10th quicker than the identical Honda of Norbert Michelisz. Mechanically identical, that is. Different coloured, black and red car. So Tarquini, whatever they made, did work. That change has worked for him.
Yeah, it's very good, isn't it? Very positive.
Excellent. Get him in and do more of the same. Maybe next time. But that's exactly what they needed to find out. In fact, they could probably do is staying here for a day or two to test where Lada are testing as well. Tarquini, fastest race lap. Michelisz leads by 5.2 seconds. Coronel starting to ease away from Tom Chilton. Chilton with the upgraded engine package in his Chevy Cruze, but he's just spent 6 laps up behind Tom Coronel, wearing his tyres more than Coronel because he's been in the dirty air and Coronel's been in clean air, and now the advantage is working. Coronel's able now to go away because he's got more grip left. Yeah,
Martin, it's not just tyres. It's tyres, it's brakes, its engine will be running hotter. As the engines run hotter, they lose horsepower. So it has a double whammy or triple whammy effect.
Do you want to tell that to Lopez, who's been pushing Loeb around since the start of the race and still looks quicker? After investigation, no further accident, the stewards say, on the Turn 1 incident. Loeb got away with that one then. I think Huffy will be very unimpressed.
Yeah, now the one thing we have suffered around, or has been prevalent around here, is high tyre wear, and Lopez was impeccable in race 1, the way he handled it, but a lot of the other races we've had this weekend, MotoGP, European touring cars, the leader has slid off on the last lap. So Michelitz is at mid-distance, but he's got to drive. He's got to keep his concentration levels right up there.
Yeah. Well, he absolutely will. So will Lopez, because he wants to get in front of Loeb. Losing points to anybody at this stage of the season is never a good thing. You want to make sure that when you get to the gala dinner at the end of the year, you're the one who walks up and receives the trophy. If it's by half a point, it doesn't matter. Just ask Niki Lauda. Well, Bernani is he back out? Just flashed up a fastest sector time, whatever.
No, Bernani's not out. He's
all the Ladas are now parked in the garage. Jimmy Thompson's didn't start, Rob Huff's didn't survive, and Mikhail Kozlowski's repaired car has also gone back into the garage, as you saw. Tom Coronel, Tom Chilton, 2nd and 3rd. And Thiago Montero has shaken off Sebastian Loeb, leaving Loeb to deal with Lopez. And Lopez is still trying to get by him. Lopez doesn't seem to be suffering with brake or tyre issues, or if he is, he's somehow driving round them.
Now, all Lopez has really got to do, because it's Loeb and Muller, on him for the championship, he's just got to finish. But that's not a
that's not his way.
No.
He's not a just going to finish guy. He's a just going to get by everybody guy.
What's surprising is Muller's not, obviously Loeb's holding them up there, but Muller's not putting Lopez under pressure as well.
Stefano D'Asti versus John Philippi, and D'Asti goes down the inside and goes wide on the outside. Philippi holds the line and holds the spot. That's the battle for 11th place.
Bit of Italian temper going in on the braking then.
Yeah, Stefano could do with the engine upgrade in his car as well. I'm sure he'd be very happy with that. Loeb, Lopez, Muller, top 3 in the championship, not in that order. It's a battle for 5th place.
Michelitz extends his lead by another half a second, so he's just making a nice little cushion there, which he can Chilton's lost a wee bit of contact with Coronel now. Coronel's in a comfy second there.
There's Norby. Well, now we said that it was 1.2 at the line. It's out to 1.6 nearly now over Chilton, and Chilton now is going to have to start to worry about Thiago, because we've still got 5 laps to go after this one is finished.
Just ahead of Formula One, the Porsche 911 GT3s take to the track for a blast wheel to wheel. And it's the driver who dares who wins. Sunday at 11:45, the Porsche Super Cup from Barcelona, live on Eurosport.
There is the Zengo Motorsport pit wall. And Norby's girlfriend looking fairly relaxed, his fiancé chatting with his engineer Gergely. Real family team. 2 brothers working in the team. And
Hungarian fans smelling blood.
There is the rest of the family. They are. Norby is going, let's hope, for his sake and for theirs, to deliver another win at home in Hungary for them. I think that might be win number 3 for him on his home circuit. Tom Coronel in his entire career in the World Touring Cars only raced 1 weekend at home at Zandvoort, and that was one of his worst weekends outside of Marrakesh. Here, though, doing a great job, 2nd place, ahead of Tom Chilton. Chilton will a little squirm over the curbs there, and every time that happens in front of you, when you're Thiago Monteiro, you're going, here we go, I'm catching him, he's feeling the heat.
Yeah, Monteiro's got that Civic on the limit for sure. Now, whether
Zoltan Zengo,
he's giving it going.
Well, I know he doesn't need to rev Norby up. I think he's just revving the crowd up.
Yeah, whether Chilton's punished his tyres too hard in those opening few laps, trying to keep Coronel under pressure, but he's definitely falling back into the clutches of Monteiro now.
Yeah. And then, of course, the double-edged sword for Monteiro is he's catching him, and then he gets into the dirty air, and his attack stalls, and then his underbody temperatures start to rise, his brake temperatures start to rise, his tyre wear starts to rise. So unless he can catch Chilton and pass him fast, he's going to be stuck as well.
And then the Citroens come back into play.
And then the Citroens come back to you, and Sebastian Loeb on the back bumper is probably not really what he wants, because he knows behind Loeb will be Lopez and Muller as well. At the moment, looks as though Tom Chilton has responded on that last lap. 51.7 from him, 51.8 from Monteiro. 10th of a second is, I mean, empirically it's nothing, but it is just another fraction further out of Monteiro's clutches. Because you only need to be on the brakes a 10th of a second later, and you've made up a couple of car lengths on somebody, Matt. The speed they're doing at the end of the front straight, you know, well over 165, 170 miles an hour, you close 2 or 3 car lengths.
Martin, I'm just looking at the timing screen, and that setup change they've obviously done on Tarquini's Honda in the interim is mega. I mean, the times, he's a second a lap quicker than anybody else almost on the circuit at the moment, and he's still banging in those fastest laps. Yeah,
last lap 7/10 quicker than a race leader, Norbert Michelis, who is the only other man fringing with a 1:51.0. Tarquini's last lap of 50.6, Norby's fastest race lap of 50.43, and Tarquini's a 50.35. So yes, suddenly we're seeing that in race 2 here, that Honda Civic Type R has taken a big step forward.
That could be absolutely mega with Nürburgring in 2 weeks' time. That is exactly what Honda.
And what it will mean is, because this is only one race weekend, they're not suddenly going to be lumped with maximum ballast weight either. Citroën will still have an aggregate faster car because they had fastest laps in race 1. So that they will just hopefully be able to build on this speed and grip and get to the Nordschleife, maybe in the position for outright race 1 win.
Well, the only thing the Hondas do struggle a wee bit is down the big long straight at the ring with top speed, which
and top speeds.
The Citroens are especially slippery down there.
Yeah. The top speeds on the Nordschleife are going to be insane. Lap 11 of 14. Norbert Michelis has done 2/3 of the job. You can see everybody is trying hard not to look tense, to try and look relaxed. but it's not over till it's over.
He's got a nice cushion there. He just needs to, he can actually back it off. He's keeping the pressure on. He's putting in some good laps still, but he just needs.
Yeah, but Matt, what happens when you relax? Ask Antonio Pizzonia. Went off, made a mistake last lap of the race yesterday, having led every inch in the rain in AutoGP.
Yeah, I always remember Nigel Mansell in Canada, was it?
Yeah, slowed down so much to wave to the fans that actually the gearbox didn't have enough in it and chunked the engine stalled. Yeah, and it happened, you know. Senna crashing in Portier, leading the Monaco Grand Prix by miles. Jack Brabham giving victory to Jochen Rindt in Monaco, again with a mistake. It happens a lot. And as a result, today, winning the AutoGP race, the Brazilian said, I didn't celebrate until I passed the checkered flag, because yesterday I relaxed, I made a mistake. And that is something that Norby is absolutely not going to do here. He still leads from Coronel, Chilton and Montero, with Lopez in 6th position, and now backing off the attack on Sebastian Loeb. Ivan Muller, the race 1 pole sitter, finished in 2nd position, but some question over what penalty might be applied for him starting on pole, but a row in front of where it is required that the poleman starts here in Hungary. So quite what comes of that remains to be seen.
I would guess that's going to just to be a healthy fine. They don't want to. Yeah. They don't want to pull points off him in the championship.
That would be really very tough. I think you may well be right. It may end up as a fine, because to penalise somebody that much, it's not like he did anything dangerous or you know, illegal. It just wasn't quite where he should have started. He was in the grid box, just he was in the wrong grid box. So I rode too far forward. Yeah, so well, whatever. He lost points to Jose Maria Lopez, who got by him in the run down to the first corner. I think to both their surprises, Muller's car stumbled away from the line, and Lopez, who was looking to get by Hugo Vallant, accidentally got by both front row starters and cruised on to win. So Muller lost points there to Lopez, and he's behind him again. Only 1 spot behind him, but if you finish behind him even by 1 position in every race, you ain't going to be champion. He might not, but you definitely won't be.
Loeb definitely seems to be renewing his attack to Montero, which should take a bit of pressure off Chilton. Let Chilton focus and get his head down.
Well, Chilton's now opened up the gap over Montero to just a fraction over a second, and it was down at 7/10 2 or 3 laps ago. So Tom's just creeping away from Thiago. As you say, Loeb is creeping up to Thiago. So again, maybe Thiago last lap a 52.2, Norby a 51.1 in his Honda, and Tarquini a 50.9 in his Honda. So what we know is that Montero has got the worst setup on his Honda at the moment. Whatever they've done in the Zengo car of Norbert Michelis, and whatever big change they did to Gabriele Tarquini's car, both have worked better than what Thiago has gone to the grid with.
Yeah, Montero is definitely he's wringing the neck of that thing to hang on in 4th place.
And Thiago had to play safe because he was middle of the grid, middle of the top 10 for both races. Tarquini had nothing to lose, so they could really be quite radical, and what they've done has worked. And for Norby, actually maybe the extra half a second he's got over Thiago is just the noise below us in the grandstands, and that national pride that he is desperate not to let the fans down.
2 laps to go at the end of this one.
I think he's got people power on his side, hasn't he? No, 1 lap to
go at the end of this one.
This is lap 13 of 14. So here we go, and the cacophony builds as he comes into sight. They're watching him on a giant screen above the pit lane all the way round, but it's redoubled as he comes across the line. They don't know the meaning of keeping your powder dry here. They go big every lap. They go large every lap, but they will absolutely explode if and when he's in front at the end of this last lap. The lead, 9.2 seconds over Tom Coronel. Coronel now, he has shaken off Tom Chilton significantly, 2 seconds behind him. will be very happy to relax in this position. Chilton clear of Thiago Monteiro, and actually Loeb's not close enough to have a go at Monteiro, who is very nearly a full second behind Thiago's Honda. And so even if Thiago makes a little mistake, Loeb is going to have to be unbelievably fortunate to take advantage of it. Going to have to be a big error by Monteiro to give away a second. One of the key spots there, corner 4, safely through. And this long, tyre-killing corner 5 as well.
I'd imagine Lopez is going to walk away from this weekend. Job done, solid result.
Yep.
Pulled points on your teammates. Loeb, how do you think he's going to walk away from it? Pretty disenchanted, I would have thought. Okay, he's pulled a few points back in race 2, but yeah, it's a bit of a nothing-y weekend for him, hasn't he? He wasn't really challenging in race 1, and
he didn't get close to Lopez, but he's got Ivan further back behind him again in race 2, so that second place, he's just eased a few more points away. But whatever else, I know where the biggest smile will be after race 2 here in Hungary, and they'll be inside the helmet of Norbert Michelisz. Hear the crowd now reach a massive crescendo as he comes across the line. It is victory in round 6 of the World Touring Car Championship. Norbert Michelisz does it again in Hungary. Second for Tom Coronel, and he will be very happy with that. And there is Zoltán Zengó, the team boss, the man who gave Norby his start. Norby was a winner on online racing, a gamer, and somebody suggested to Zoltán, hey, we should give this kid a go in a car. So he gave him a little test in a Renault Clio, and before you know it, the kid is turning up in the Seat Leon Euro Cup and then in the World Touring Car Championship, and is racing and winning again at home in Hungary.
Tyrrell Motorsport cars on the podium as well. How about that? Yeah. And as you said earlier on, not a single Citroen.
When, this is one for Neil Hudson of Touring Car Times, when was the last time there were 2 Royal Motorsport cars on the podium? I'm going to say it was in...
Where performance matters, you'll find Total Quartz. The FIA WTCC is delivered by DHL. Yokohama, your tire. The FIA WTCC is brought to you by JVC Kenwood.
The long, winding trail across Italy. The epic fight for pink in 21 days. And with so many horrendous challenges along the way, for the favorites, there's virtually no hiding place. It's cycling's major tour numero uno. It's the Giro, where the day begins and ends with Juan Antonio Fletcher and Giro Extra.